Hey, what's good, y'all? J Boogie in full effect mode. Bun down is the sound. You know how we do. In the lounge space today, we have a gentleman that we have been following for a minute and have been looking to get him into the lounge space. And so, serendipitously enough, all the stars aligned. Shout out to Sammy and Gavin. And in the lounge space now, we do have Russell.
What's going on?
Hey, yes. Give this man his propers.
Hell yeah, man. In the cut. We're here.
Like that. So, yo, we always start off by asking our guests how they were first introduced to music.
How I was introduced to music was definitely my mom playing a lot of like singles in the house. She was big on pop music, so a lot of Madonna. Like my first memories of music were Madonna, a lot of glam pop, I would say. So
Okay.
Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, like
Yeah.
all that.
Okay.
I think after that, my dad came in the mix. He's my stepdad, but I just call him my dad.
Of course.
He came into my life when I was around 4, and his family, he's Trinidadian, so his family was just like super into just super island based,
of course.
Caribbean sounds, a lot of soca.
Soca for sure.
I grew up on that, a lot of calypso, Tassaban, things of that nature.
Okay.
And that kind of, I think, of course, the fusion of like Filipino karaoke too.
Yes.
Along with a lot of like the BPMs of island music. Those were definitely my first introductions to music. Then that guided me to hip hop and R&B later on.
There you go. Yo, you rep in Brampton, right?
Yeah, all the way from.
Hey, shout out to
City.
Bremley City Center.
Oh my
Is that
God,
still up?
yes, the
Is it still up?
In the world. Yes, the greatest place in the world.
Like that.
So yeah, man.
You obviously grew up around music in the house.
Yes, yeah, for sure. I mean, in so many ways. Creating, not so much like my parents weren't in a band or anything or anything of that matter. Both my parents were just fans. Big music fans. But karaoke for sure was like, that was, I think, the heavy walk-in general into making music and just, getting close to the demonstration of vocals within music.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about Filipino culture, you know that karaoke is a thing.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's like if you don't, then like, are you really Filipino?
Straight up.
It's just the love for music and the love for just performance art, I think. Just in all fields, dance. I mean, I could go on for hours, but yeah.
Did you explore any sort of musical training when you were younger?
Definitely not. I'm not musically trained at all. I don't know what like a B major is or a C minor, like nothing. I literally
not yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's the yin and yang to a lot of the producers that I work with, where I just work with a lot of producers that know their music theory really well, and I know jack shit about music theory. So it's good because I leave them to do their thing production wise, and I don't get in the middle of it. And on top of that too, they kind of put me on to scales or what more I can do melodically. So I think that's a good yin and yang. I don't think it's necessary for me to really know.
No, you don't really have to.
Production. Yeah,
exactly.
Unless I jump into production, but yeah, definitely not musically trained at all.
Did you do any choir or anything like that?
No, not at all. I was a little too rugged to be in like a lot of the Filipino kids I grew up with were definitely in church, but my brother and I definitely clocked out. Like at a certain age,
I feel you, dog. Trust.
Clocked out. Yeah.
I feel you all the way live on that one.
yeah, man. Definitely.
So when did it hit you? When did it could have been an epiphany moment. It could have been, a chance stumble on something. But when did it hit you? When did you know? You know what? I feel like I've got something inside I want to share, and I think I want to share it in this manner.
Well, I always knew I wanted to like be famous when I was a kid. Like I like didn't know what for, and I felt like I was gonna figure that out soon. And I
Mm,
think when I always wanted attention as a kid, I think that was like just something like I really I was really aiming for like in my younger years just to be like the person that everybody paid attention to one way
mm,
or another. And when I saw the reaction I would get whenever I started out as a rapper. So when I would freestyle in, the
mm-hmm,
circles, like, these cipher circles and doing my thing, within the open mic spaces, like just demonstrating and putting it to work, it was like definitely in my teenage years, it was developing into this like, oh, I actually really want to do this for a living. So I always just say, I tell a lot of people that I'm very fortunate to understand and know what I wanted to do, like ever since I was a kid. Like some people don't
mm-hmm.
have that, and some people go up
Yeah,
throughout their whole life trying to
facts.
find their purpose in that. So yeah, it was definitely instilled from when I was a kid, for sure.
I'm glad you brought up the MC thing because I know that that is how you started out, right? But in your progression, the sound that we're hearing from you now is obviously what you were meant for, right?
Definitely. I mean, yeah, like I'd always loved music, so I told myself, whatever way you make it in, at least be doing it,
Exactly,
um,
exactly.
yeah, and it's evolving for sure. Like I had to evolve to get to this point.
So when did you make the switch?
It was 2020.
Okay.
Super long story short, I was putting out a rap album, and rapping for me was so much. It was turning into a job because I knew that I wasn't.
Mm,
I felt like I was falling out of love with what I was doing.
mm,
The appeal of being a kid rapper wasn't there anymore because at this point I'm like 27, 28. So it's like
mm,
it's just not working, and I had to really admit it to myself that it wasn't. And then I'd met somebody in LA that was interested in managing me, and it was sort of like that Sean Parker moment with Facebook. She
mm,
just take the V, make it just Facebook. She was more so like, you're a great singer, you're a great artist, and you're good at rapping, but you're better at singing, and I think you should
mm,
do this. And
mm,
I kind of took that. I took that very seriously because I was like, at this point, like I really I just want to be creatively happy, and I want to
for
do
sure.
what works. Like for so long, I wasn't doing what worked,
Mm,
and yeah. So from there, I don't work with this person anymore, but they definitely like. I always give credit to this person for just opening up new doors for me and new ideas in my head about what I can do. So
mm,
there's always respect there. Um, and yeah, I mean, 2020 was the switch, and I had to commit. There was a lot that I sacrificed, which was a lot of certainty of just no, like if I had stuck to the old brand, there was always the certainty of, okay, I'm going to get this many YouTube hits and this many people are going to stream my music, and I could just kind of keep on doing this type of content and like rinse myself out. But sooner or
yeah.
later, it's going to fizzle out, as opposed to just like, oh, maybe I can like elevate. Yeah, I got to sacrifice, a couple 100,000 hits, but you know, reinventing is kind of what I wanted to do. That's just what I wanted to do. I couldn't keep on being stagnant. So yeah, it's been
No,
4 years.
for real.
The journey has been great, and I've been unlocking so many new pockets. But yeah, for a 4 year journey.
I mean, and that is the life cycle of being an artist, right?
Definitely,
It's
definitely.
part of the progression. I mean, like artists don't stay in one spot for their entire career. The evolution and progression is ongoing. And like I said, man, obviously, you found your bag, dog.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Nah, for real, you definitely found your bag. It's interesting though that if folks are not aware of who you were before the album dropped, right? If they'd never heard you before, they just kind of got to look on your YouTube, and you can see hints of, hey, wait a minute, why do I feel like this guy must have rapped at some point?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't really like it's I didn't ever want to lean on my past to be this crutch of like, oh, I used to be this guy, I used to be this
Yeah,
guy, I used to
yeah,
be this guy.
yeah,
Um, so I had to honestly just like take a lot of that material down and wipe it off and just start with a clean slate, which,
yeah,
what I was talking about before, just the sacrifices that I had to take in order for my rebrand to actually work. Um, because I just didn't want to hang on to the past anymore.
for
And
sure.
I'm open to always speaking about it and discussing things
Of
about it
course.
and talking
Yeah,
about my experiences within
yeah,
that whole journey of mine.
exactly.
But I'm just so happy that I'm, one thing that, aside from the music, I feel like mentally I had to let a lot of my past go. And I think that I
Yeah,
did that like in so many ways. And since I have, creatively, I've been in the best shape. Mentally, I've just been in a way better, more sure, confident space. Um, and I just like, I like to openly talk about it in pieces like this, where it's like an open
yeah.
dialogue conversation, much rather than making TikToks
Right.
or
Yeah.
reels like these are the glory days and oh, this is my story from the glory. It's like, dude, I'm not 60, man. Like I have my glory days are about to be ahead.
Yeah, you haven't even felt your
So
glory days yet, dog.
exactly, man.
Nah, you're
So
not even there yet.
it's yeah, it's cool to leave little traces of it on YouTube and to one fan told me this once and it really stuck with me. He was like, "Yo, if you were there, you were there."
Exactly.
And that's like I mean, there's nothing more to be said after that. It's just like if you were there, you were there.
Well said. Definitely well said. Now, when you started really taking music a little more seriously, when you probably already had the epiphany moment. Even though as you were younger, it's obvious you knew you wanted that dopamine rush of people knowing, hey, this guy's got something. Once you've come a little closer to knowing what you want to do, were the folks around you also similarly exploring music at the same time, or were you kind of the odd person out?
Um, I definitely felt like I was the odd person out a lot of my
Mm.
like life within music, mainly because I think well, one, I could look at this from at hindsight. I'm 31 now, and I think when I was coming up in the game, it wasn't many rappers as there are now. Like
Hmm.
there weren't many underground artists
Yeah.
as excuse me as there are now, and it's like
Right.
I was definitely in a position where making friends was hard, or like trying to let people know what I'm doing is like it was weird because not many I was ahead of the curve when it came to influencer marketing and things of that nature.
Hmm.
This wasn't like this is we're talking like 2012, pre 2012, actually, like
Yeah.
2008, 2009 blog era times
Blog
where it's
era,
like,
exactly.
people really didn't see, and when it came down to being a young kid and trying to have friends and things of that nature, it's like people just didn't get like, oh, that's what you do, like, oh, so you're going to be out for however many months or blah blah blah. So it was definitely like it was weird because finding support was like a very hard thing to do at the time
Mm.
because it's like, what am I supporting? And people that had never seen stories like that before until I
Yeah.
proved it. Until I really proved it was when
Hmm.
people were like, "Yeah, we'll get behind this." But I will say, like, in a positive light, is like I did have like a group of funny friends that were so encouraging when it came down to me being goofy and childish and making music. And my friends used to come into the rooms as I was writing and write their own verses to the songs, and we'd make our own stupid songs together, and they would never make me feel like alone with things. But of
Okay.
course, friends grow up, and I
Yeah.
was detached from them, and I was put in a lot of like situations where I was just like always felt like nobody really got my experience and what I was going through because I was in like such a, just damn near like a child star. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
I was going through things that not many kids went through. If I were to
Exactly.
write a memoir, it would be crazy. I mean, I was I was 18 in One Oak in New York City, like just living it up, like
Hmm.
partying and living a full rapper life. And then I would come back home to Brampton, and my family's going through financial trouble, and my friends are growing up, and my sister's getting older, and it's just it was definitely one of those. I definitely felt like the odd one out. Long answer to a short question, but
No,
yeah, definitely
I hear
felt like
that.
the odd one out.
So what once it became obvious, how did the family respond to their child wanting to wade their waters into the music industry?
Oh, my parents were always cool with it. I think
Yeah,
I think my mom was always supportive of what I did, but
straight.
she just her whole thing was like, "Yo, stick to it. Like, I don't care
Yeah.
what you do. You could, my mom was like, "Yo, you could want, aspire to be a rodeo clown as long as you're doing it and not always talking about it, not
Right.
because that was so many people that I was around were a lot of talkers and a lot
A
of
lot
like,
of
oh yeah,
chat.
we're gonna do
Yeah.
this and start this business. Oh, I'm gonna go to the NBA. Being a Filipino kid,
Yeah.
like you would probably know, like so many Filipino kids play basketball, and it's like
Yep.
a lot of
Yep.
us think we could go to the NBA and find out we're only 5'7" and can't do that. So for me,
Yeah.
it was like, and just going through.
Oh, we lost him. Where'd he go? Oh,
Oh, am I
there
good?
you
Sorry
are.
about that. I
Hey, there you are.
disconnected for a sec. Am I all good now?
You
My
good. You
bad.
good.
I had an alarm that went off or something.
Oh, yeah. All gravy.
Um, but yeah, like I definitely sorry, I was on a train of thought, totally lost it. What was the
Moms.
um yeah,
Mom is fully supportive.
yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, both of my parents are definitely supportive. Like it was like my mom was always on some, hey, like she had bought my first microphone when on my 13th birthday. On my
Hey.
champagne birthday,
Okay.
October 13th, I was 13 years old. She bought me a microphone. And again, like her whole thing was like, yo, use this. I don't want to see this
That's
collecting dust.
sick. That's
And
sick.
I was like so psyched about it because like even when it came down to dropping out of high school, my mom's like, yeah, go ahead, I don't care. Like
Yeah.
what am I dropped out of school, who am I? And like I always just felt like my mom was low-key a hippie. Like she was definitely a hippie in her own ways, like a Filipino mom hippie. She was just all
Mm-hmm.
about peace and fun,
Mm-hmm.
and she had went through so much in her life, so she just didn't want to see me live with any restrictions like she did when she
Yeah.
was a young girl in the Philippines. So yeah, and my stepdad, my dad was always like just super cool. Like, yeah, do what you want, dude. Like as long as you're
That's sick.
happy. And if you ever met my dad, like he's just a happy guy in general. So, that kind of rubbed off on me when it just came down to everything in all aspects of life, including like just following my dreams. Like always just living with that fun, positive delusion, thanks to two very eccentric parents.
You know what though? The fact that you had that type of support can't be slept on because to get that type of support from your family, full well knowing what you're getting involved in, and let's be completely honest, the music industry is gangsta,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So for them to know that's what you wanted and support you fully, that's there's the weight in gold just can't be compared to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's so important.
Yeah, I'm happy that I don't have a lot of like I have Asian friends, and I feel like I'm one of the only like I feel like I was one of the only Asian kids growing up I knew that didn't have parents that like pressured them to do anything they
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
my parents are like, do whatever the fuck you want, dude. Just
Yeah,
don't be
that's
a
awesome.
loser.
For real, for
But
real.
yeah, man, like shout out to my parents, man, because they were definitely
Definitely.
a
Shout
very
out to
pivotal
parents.
part. Yeah, very pivotal part in the come up.
Now, one thing that is unique to Filipino artists in North America is that entering the music industry is a complete uphill climb. Just being an artist in general, but being a Filipino artist in North America has its own set of ladders to climb because Filipinos aren't generally looked at as marketable.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And
No, I
so
definitely, yeah, I feel you.
you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
you know, Filipinos aren't considered marketable. The look is, well, how do we market you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But thankfully, you figured out your lane and you kept pushing forward, and you didn't let that obstruct you in any way. But at any point, did it ever kind of, did you have those moments where you were like, good God, yes, I am Filipino, but listen to the scales, man?
yeah. I mean, my whole career has been that.
Yep.
Um, of course, even dealing with the industry and getting as close
Yep.
as I have to the the lucky pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah.
I it's great that I have managers like Sammy and Bobby because they understand my
Mm-hmm.
struggle and they were in the same position as
Yeah.
me at a certain
Yeah.
point, be
Yeah.
trying to break as artists, and
Yeah.
they are so talented. They're very fucking talented. It's just the times that you're in, kind of, they were trying to break it. They're trying to break in at a time that wasn't as caterable to what was going
No.
on
No.
talent wise. They were so ahead of their time, and
Yeah.
I was definitely, coming into this, I never had mentors that, like, or just people that I could talk to that understood my struggle when it
Right.
came down to it, because it was like the white artists I knew, like, they were, it's either you're white or you're black, and you're,
Yeah.
or Latin, and
Yep.
you're super marketable. And if you're an
Yep.
Asian artist, then you have to be like foreign, and
Yes.
doing K-pop or doing some
Yeah.
sort of foreign, you know, just speaking another dialect over
Yeah.
beats. It's like,
Exactly.
but the American, or North American Asian wasn't ever like normalized within media when it just came down to performance artists, whether it was
Exactly.
actors or actresses. Like, you didn't see a Filipino person on screen unless they were half
Yeah.
mixed. And everybody, I don't want to be hating on mixed
No,
Filipinos.
not at
Like,
all. Not at
we
all.
love
Not at all.
everybody. If you're Filipino, you're
Exactly.
Filipino.
Hey.
But for the sake of conversation, when it just comes to like seeing a pure Filipino person, it's like you can count them all on
You
one
can
hand when it
count.
comes to
You can
Hollywood.
count. Exactly.
One of them
Count.
being Dante Bosco. It's like,
Yeah.
and other than that,
Exactly.
it's been very hard. It's
Yes.
2024, mind you.
Yep.
It's a long time since since Rufio. It's just been
Exactly.
so long, and I just, when it came down to wanting to represent, I just never wanted to come out and look like something that you can laugh at, because I feel like that's sort of one problem when it comes to a Filipino audience, is
Mm.
there's so many jokes about us, and
Mm-hmm.
we love to not take ourselves seriously, and of course joke
Mm-hmm.
around, and but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, how long are we going to do this until everybody just sees us as a joke, and everybody
Thank you.
sees us as this little accent,
Thank
oh,
you.
you're F's or P's, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I get it, I get all the cuisine jokes, I get it, but like,
Yep.
what about the fact that we can all sing? Like,
Thank
what
you.
about the fact that we can, like, our performance art is unbelievable? What about the fact that
It's in the
we're
blood.
super educated when it comes to music? Like,
Yeah.
I I my journey in the Philippines is so funny, because like, you could go to a street corner and see a guy cleaning a car, and he'll be singing as he's cleaning his car, but the bar is set so high up there, like, that dude literally sounds like Bruce Springsteen cleaning his
Mm.
car. Like, he
Mm.
literally sounds like a studio artist, and this is just a regular everyday guy.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and I think, like, things like that aren't, like, they're showcased sometimes, but maybe there's just too much humor laced in it, where, like, if somebody is like expressing how they're singing, it's like people just start ripping on them with like Tito jokes or something, or you know what
Mm.
I mean, like all
Totally.
these like jokes making fun of somebody for being as
Yep.
talented. But when are we going to back somebody up?
Yep.
And I see it a lot with people that people that like to laugh and call me D Pride and be like, oh yeah, like, oh,
Mm.
like, just kind of like the little under, yeah, how would I say it? Backhanded compliments and things of that
Basically,
nature.
that's what
I'm
that
like,
is.
and I'm like, yeah, I get it. The Swagapino jokes are funny. I'll feed into them, but how
Hmm.
long is it going to be until we can at least sit here and be like, okay, but like he's actually killing it. Like he's
Thank you.
actually really talented.
Thank you.
And again, like I hate to be on this tangent because, but I'm just so passionate about it because I talk
For
to a lot
sure.
of Filipino creatives about this and they agree
Yeah,
with me. It's like,
for sure.
I want to be looked at as like Filipino culture to me is so cool. It's
Yeah.
just so cool. And it's like when you look at like Polynesian people in general, like this happy, peaceful, welcoming energy. You look at Hawaiians, and it's like we share so many parallels.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I just think like like we're island kids, like we're Filipinos.
Basically,
Like,
yep.
why can't we be seen as that? Why can't we be seen as like super cool and super happy? Like we always got to make fun of the accent. We always got to make fun of all of our characteristics and all these things. It just I think there needs to be progression within that and progression within the
Definitely.
appreciation and on top of that, like real unity. Like I think there needs to be unity. I think there needs to be a lot of us working together.
Yes.
Um, but I think too, and what I can understand too, is like a lot of Asian artists in general. They want to make they want to make their audience bigger than just an Asian audience.
Of
But what
course.
people don't understand sometimes is, well, at least with Filipino people, is like we're gonna support whoever. We're gonna be like, oh, he's Filipino. All right, I'm right behind him,
Right?
and we should focus on that. And
Yeah.
I think if we do, and if we really just focus on collaboration and strength in numbers, we can definitely invade Hollywood and make being Filipino sexy, make
Oh
being
yeah.
Filipino like this. Every time I talk to, and mind you, I'm a very like my hangout range is crazy. I have friends of all different shapes, colors, and sizes. Like a lot of people look at me and they're like, "How are you friends with this many different people?" I'm like, "Well, one, I'm Filipino. I'm a chameleon."
Yeah.
Um, but I talk to everybody, and it's like a lot of my black friends too. Like we'll always have like just funny racial conversation, and
Yeah.
they'll always say like, "Dude, like you're Filipino, like." We have so many parallels. Like
Oh
being
yeah.
black, we have so many parallels, and things just go hand in hand. And one thing that one person put me on to just like the whole journey of being Filipino within entertainment is because we get along with people so much, because we're so, I guess, just like we can blend in really well. I think that could, the negative from that could be us not finding our identity because we're so versatile, because
Right.
it's almost jack of all trades, master of none, right?
Yep. Yep.
um
Yep. Yep.
but I do think um I do think there's something there. And just paying and wrapping this up, like paying attention to how the Philippines is now in terms of just their underground music scene of R&B and hip hop. I think
Hmm.
they've finally cracked onto a sound and identity.
Yes,
And
they have.
I went out there in May to
Yes.
just like
Yes.
mingle and really take the chance on just like seeing how the scene got down, and they welcomed me with open arms. Everybody was so cool, and I was just I was like inspired by how much just the work ethic, how much
Mm.
people really want to start something cool there.
Hmm.
And yeah, I kind of came back with this extra motivation of like, I want people to see, of course, the North American Filipino kid experience,
Yeah.
but they also got to see what the hell is going on over there,
Oh
because like
yeah.
it's damn near similar and draws so many parallels to me, like when it comes to like Latin music. When I hear
Yeah.
Latin music and the cadences of Tagalog music, I'm like, oh, this is like we can really have a wave here.
Yeah.
And I just, again, like, I think it starts with us working with each other and making moments with each other. And hopefully I can do that within the years to come. And yeah, sorry for the tangent, man. This is something I'm
No,
just
that's not a
super
tangent.
passionate about.
Dog, that is not a tangent. Trust, that's not a tangent. One thing that I was curious about when you made your way out to the Philippines, I mean, like when I look at the Philippines and I try to study like what's going on in their market and what's going on in hip hop and in R&B and even in Amapiano, man, I'm trying to figure it out. To how did you were you able to build with folks in the music industry out there or in the music community?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Bobby, my manager, Bobby, well, Bobby and Sammy both manage me. Sammy is in Toronto, Bobby's over in the Philippines. And
Okay.
he already went over there and just planted so many
Okay.
seeds
Sweet.
and
Sweet.
and did really good business with a lot of people
Dope.
over there. And he's just, it's really cool because he wants to contribute so much to the space over there, and the
Mhm.
mission that he has is just so genuine. And I get it. Like, as somebody that just wants to see this whole scene rise, like, I get it. So, having him out there is awesome, because when I'm running around with him all day, I'm seeing the impact that he's having over there with a lot of the people that
Mm.
are trying to build an infrastructure over there.
That's dope.
But it's cool, like, a lot of the artists over there, Al James, like, we kicked back and hung out for a bit, and talked music. And I have a song with Superfly. I got a song with Denise Laurel, Denny, Player Two. Like, a lot of artists out there were just so, like, welcoming, and we're, like, down to work. And I took the
Dope.
opportunities, like, damn near every day I was in the studio with somebody, just trying
Oh,
to
that's sick.
put together an album. So we have an album, actually, that we made in the
Okay.
Philippines. So it's, like, strictly
Okay.
dedicated to the Philippines. Of course, like, going to be put out for the world to listen to, but
Yeah.
it's kind of, without saying too much, it's just my slice of wanting to show the Philippines to my audience.
That's
Because
sick.
I do have, like, a wide range of listeners. Of course, my 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 fan base is predominantly Filipino because I'm a Filipino kid.
Mm.
But I see a lot of kids show up to the shows, and it's like a white kid will walk up to me and be like, "Yo, like, our token Filipino friend put, like, our friend group on, like, our whole friend group,
He put us
like, he put
on.
you on, like, so we're all
Hey.
fans now." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool." And it kind of just
Proper.
goes back into, honestly, like, why I think, like, the wave is going to just be so big, because the we have phones, we have TikTok, like, we have so much awareness to, like, us being able to spread the word about just being Filipino. And I think, like, when it just comes to support, like, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before
Yeah.
North American kids and just the whole world see what's going on over there. But I want to be the one to, like, bridge the gap, and help
I hear
contribute.
that. Yeah, no, I'm impressed with what I've been seeing over there. Just kind of studying it from over here, and I was even surprised. And so, like in Makati, there's a club there where they've got an ama piano night,
Hmm.
and I'm like, what?
Nice.
Okay, we needs to go. Okay, we
But,
needs
like,
to
that
go.
makes sense. Like, that makes so much
Right?
sense. Like,
Doesn't
I
it
get it.
though?
Yeah, like, it's not even that far off. Like, I completely get it. Like,
Yeah.
like, of course there'd be something like that there,
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's just super cool. Like, my homies over there, and shout out to them, the Flyish Only boys. They put on parties and publish on, and, like, it's just so cool. Like, I was fortunate enough to just come through some nights and drink with them, and see what the scene was like. But just the
Nice.
appreciation for deep cuts, and just
Nice.
some of the DJs over there spinning hip hop and R&B, they were just so dope. And I was like,
Yep.
oh man, this is sick. Like, I want to, like, live here for a bit and soak in all this,
Right.
like, love for the music
For
that they
real
have.
though. Nah, for
and
real.
and and the young kids just being so, like the taste level is just so cool. Like,
Yeah.
I just love the taste level that they have there for fashion, and more things around just music and hip hop and culture in general.
Yeah,
But
things
yeah,
definitely
man.
done changed over there.
Yeah, for sure. Like there is that whole stigma that people have about Asia, where it's like, oh, these guys are like 2 years behind and blah blah blah. Like,
Yeah,
no, if anything, they're way more forward, and they're like researching more trends that are coming up and being ahead of the curve on certain things. And yeah, like I'm just I'm still so inspired from my trip there in May.
that's sick.
But yeah, man, I want to go back as soon as possible. So January, we're aiming for that.
Dope. That's sick.
Yeah,
That's
man.
so sick. So
Yeah.
yo, the album Dearly Loved, you are touring to support this.
Yes,
First of
definitely.
all, I love that you're touring to support this. I love, love, love that. I think it's so proper, and I think it's so awesome because with what you were able to do with this record, salute by the way.
Thanks, man. I
Flames,
appreciate it.
flames,
Thank you,
flames.
dog.
Pure
Appreciate that.
vibes. Pure vibes. Yo, who did some of the production on there? I know you've got some guys you work with pretty tightly.
Yeah, yeah. Kyle, you made that executive produced it and basically damn near produced the whole thing. I
Okay.
got my guy Rancher on there. I got Kevin Sassy on there. Kevin's Hideout. Hopefully, I'm not forgetting anybody, but yeah, like a lot of the close homies. It's a very tight knit crew over here, just because excuse me, I'm very particular when it comes to like the people I work with,
I feel
and
that.
I just like having a personal relationship with people I create music with. So
Oh
all
yeah.
these guys I had a person like damn near everybody on the album I had somewhat of a personal relationship with, and it's just so cool seeing it out and making its rounds, because a lot of people just were able to see like a lot of just the product of many nights of my friends and I just jamming and figuring
Yeah.
things out.
That's
um
sick.
yeah, man, I appreciate all the love on it for sure.
Salute Kevin's Hideout.
Yeah, man, that's the guy, man.
That's the homie right there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yo, I really the vibe of the record is. I mean, I know what my assumptions were going into it, but I heard a joint was it Am I Enough? Kind of
Yeah,
UK
yeah.
garage. It was like a UK
Yeah,
garage.
yeah.
Yo, I was like, fuck yes.
Thanks, dude.
That
Appreciate
was
it, man.
that surprised me because you know when you're not expecting it, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I just of course big homage to Craig David and
Yes,
his impact
yes,
on R&B and just kind of bridging
yes.
that gap from the UK to the US. But yeah, I wanted to put I wanted to put different sounds on there, but without fully confusing people on what
Right,
Russell is.
right.
But it's just me tapping into different bags and still keeping it R&B, whether it be chord progressions or cadences within my writing. I always just kind of like to fuse an element of R&B in everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, Kyle's just he's a madman. He's like, I don't understand in the most positive way I could say this. I don't understand his mind at times. And I love it because he's an alien. He's like legit an alien. And everything he touches, like I said before earlier on in this interview, is like, I don't know anything about music theory. So I just put my
Mm-hmm.
vocals down, write the song how I need to. We add like our little production things, and then I just give him my vocals and let him run free after. And what he takes out of the beat and what he puts into the beat, like he just goes in, and he'll send me a wave by the end of the week, or probably even sometimes by the end of the night. He'll just
Mm.
go home, take the record home, and completely flip it, and it'll be the craziest thing ever. So I'm very fortunate to have a friend like him,
For real.
because he was my Quincy Jones, R.I.P. He was my Quincy Jones to the whole thing. Just kind
Oh
of coaching
yeah.
me throughout building an album and building a record in general.
Well, your chemistry is obvious. It's all over the record. That chemistry is real, and it's it's not necessarily luck, but it's one of those situations where you're able to connect with someone creatively and get into that groove with them, knowing every single time you step in the studio that you're gonna find that groove again.
Yeah, for sure. I could chalk it up to just both of us putting 10,000 hours of work and learning into what we're doing, and
Right.
then on top of that too, finding the balance of hard work, but also fun. Like we wanted to have fun. We wanted to catch eureka moments.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We wanted to finish a demo and listen to it until we were tired of it by the end of the night. It was like
Yep.
not about charting. It wasn't about how many streams is this going to do. It was
Yep.
solely about, does this sound like, are we having fun within the process of this?
Yep.
Because sometimes that's like the best part about making music, like cutting the
Facts.
vocals and going like line for line, punching stuff in, smoking and drinking until a certain point where you're like, all right, cool, it's like 2 a.m., maybe we should stop. But like listening to the song buzzed and being like, oh my God, like let's add this and let's add this. And just kind of like treating it like a hobby still, but
Mm-hmm.
knowing that it's still the Super Bowl,
Yep.
but just having complete fun with it, because that's the reason why we were all here in the first place. Just having
Exactly.
fun making it. So I think, the work ethic I learned from Kyle is like one of like the key things that I can always like just bring around with me everywhere with whoever I work with. Because yeah, he definitely trained me for just walking in and like doing my thing, like strictly just doing my thing and being myself and having fun with it. And that's how
That's
I feel
dope.
like I could just outwork so many people, because I actually just look at this as like my hobby still. I treat
Mm-hmm.
it like a job, but I treat it like a job when it comes to the logistics, but when it comes to doing the job and the execution of, it's all fun to me. It's all
There you
like a
go.
game. Yeah.
There you go. That's so clutch because if you're able to figure that out, that's going to help you keep progressing.
Yeah, and it'll help me, it'll keep me away from being tired of it and having it bore me and stress me out
Yeah.
creatively. And I just I'm just so happy that I was able to like find my groove and find my personality and my identity within my music. Because now I just hop in and turn the auto tune on, and I'll sing, and I'll punch in line for line, and I'll have the biggest smile on my face the entire
There you
time,
go.
because
There
I
you
feel
go.
like I'm getting closer and closer to something that I want to listen to personally.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about right there. That's what it's all about.
yeah, for sure.
So you're gonna be embarking on the tour, and I know obviously you're making a stop in Winnipeg. The
Yep,
date, the Winnipeg date is the
the
20th.
20th
20th.
of
That's it.
November. Yeah, we're doing Exchange Event Center. It's my first time in Winnipeg in damn near 10 years, so
Okay.
it's gonna be
Okay.
fun.
There
Hell
you
yeah.
go. Who's opening?
I got Habs opening actually. I just posted a
Okay.
reel today of her remix to Lady, which is really cool. But yeah, we got Habs opening up. And yeah, the boys and I are doing a nice long set full of all the hits. So
Dope.
it's
You
definitely an event to go to.
you're gonna have a merch table?
Sadly, we can't be at this
Mm.
show. I wish we could, but it's so much that we're so like these two dates, Winnipeg and Calgary. We have to fly to both of them. So like
Ooh.
it's so much luggage that we're bringing over that we're like,
Yeah.
dang, we
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it. Like of course, we upgrade like as we go, and progression is key. So one day I definitely want to come back and do like 1,000 cap venue and be able to have merch available.
No doubt. No doubt. Do you do Bandcamp?
I don't do Bandcamp
Okay.
actually.
Okay. I'm just looking for people because I mean, yes, streaming is there. Streaming
Yeah.
is but for people who might want something more physical, something more physical, whether it's a CD or a vinyl or a T,
Yeah. Yeah,
for you
we're
to be able to
working.
get that extra bag.
Yeah, we're working right now on the hard copy for Dearly Loved. I just kind of want to add
Okay, dope,
I want
dope,
to add
dope.
a couple one two on there. Like we had a bonus come out, so with everything that we promote along with the album, I just want to add something new too, whether it's
Sweet.
music or visuals or
Okay.
things of that nature. But I'm just waiting until the new year now, because it's like a first things first thing. So
No,
make sure that the
I'm
tour's out
feeling
the
it.
way, and then yeah, no, I feel you though. We definitely need some physicals. I'm big on that. But yeah, there's certain dates on the tour that will have merch. I wish I could do it for Winnipeg though, but
I
yeah,
mean,
but
next time. No
Yeah,
problem.
for sure. Well, I'll
Or
physically be there. So
exactly.
there's
What
me.
more? What
There's
more do
me.
you need? What more do you need? Come on now. There
Exactly.
you go. And tickets are being sold via website.
Yeah, you can get them at the door or on the website kohai.com/Russell.
There you go.
And shout out to Kohai for putting on the tour. They've been awesome.
There you go. That's so awesome. So awesome. Well, yo, man, I really want to thank you for taking some time to spend some time with us here in the lounge space. The album is Flames.
Thanks, man.
If you're familiar, you already know. But if you're not, and this is the first time you've heard of Russell, don't sleep.
Thank you. Definitely
Don't sleep. Don't sleep
A lot of great
because
stuff.
you're missing out. Trust. Straight up and down.
Sure. Definitely.
The album, dearly love it. Is it people? You can hear it on streaming, so get those streams up. Get the streams up. Streamers are perfect for promotion and getting the word out. So if you're not familiar yet, you need to you need to tap in quick.
For sure. Tap in.
Like that. Well, yo, thank you again, and I hope this isn't the only time we get you in the lounge space. I want you to know, anytime you got something popping, we exist to help promote that dope shit.
For sure, man.
Open door for you, man.
Me. Yeah, man. Hell yeah. And I appreciate the conversation and being able to just talk to more people in the space that understand where we come from culturally.
There you go.
Yeah, it's just super cool, and I love everything you're doing. So yeah, just big respects to you, man.
Oh, respect to you all day. Respect to you all day.
Hell
Russell, dearly loved, streaming now. Show in Winnipeg on the 20th at EEC. Cop the tickets online or at the door, and make sure you check Russell out because, whoo, shit.
Hell yeah. Appreciate